Hello, everyone. Dr. Vicky here, speaking to you from the Seeds of Transformation Healing Center. It's time for Taroscopes again. We're going to be doing the Taroscopes for the sign of Taurus. Taurus painting. That's Taurus Sun, Taurus Moon, Taurus Rising for the month of April, 2025. One of the months that the sun is in Taurus. So we're going to look at all of that. But before we get started, I just want to welcome my new subscribers. Welcome to this channel of beautiful, like-minded souls. Thank you to my tried and true people who have been with me for years, walking this path together. It has been my honor to share it with you. For my new members on the channel, thank you for your membership. We're just starting. Things are going to get better each month. And you get things before anybody else does. You get a couple of special things, special talks, special videos, and I will be starting to do lives within the membership. I just want to get, I need just maybe a few more weeks for that to start. So that's what I want to say. Right? Yes, those are the things I wanted to say. So let's get into the astrology. We're gonna look at the astrology generally of the month and then how it applies to you. Okay, just give me a moment here. I need to bring it up big. Bring it up big. All right, here we go. All right, so April is April is the fourth month. And so over here, first of all, this is the tree of life in the center. These are the major astrological occurrences that are happening this month. And these are the vibrations that we're working with this month. April is the fourth month. The fourth card in the tarot is the Emperor. The Emperor is about having dominion, having dominion over your life, knowing what you know. It is a energy of building foundations. And it is it's a sign associated with Aries. So the Aries is highlighted, and of course, the Sun is in Aries this month. Mercury is in Aries, and Venus is in Aries this month. So, and Neptune, lest we forget, Neptune up here at the end of March, almost the last day of March, moved into Aries for the first time in about 151 years. The last time it moved into that degree of Aries was 165 years ago, which was right around the time of the start of the Civil War. But at that time, you know, we were just coming into the Neptune energy. Neptune had just been discovered, and now, you know, we've been aware of it pretty much for a cycle. And so it is significant. We maybe have a better handle on that Neptune energy. And in Aries, to a certain extent, it's creating your own reality. So that is an energy that we will be working with for 14 years. Neptune does go back into Pisces before it exits Pisces pretty much for good, at least for us, and moves into Aries, and we'll spend 14 years in Aries. So, all right, so that's a 4 vibration. This is the path. It's the path on the tree of life that connects the Sephiroth of Uranus, which is Chokmah. Chokmah means wisdom, and the Sephiroth of the sun, which is Tiphereth, which means beauty. The 9 vibration is the vibration of the universal year. 2025 is a 9-year. It's a year of separating the wheat from the chaff. 9 is a vibration of healing, understanding, wisdom. The hermit shares the light that he shines is the light of his wisdom. It's on this path here, which is the Virgo path. And so this is a very important year for Virgos and for people who have prominent Virgo aspects or prominent Virgo planetary signatures in their chart. everybody born in the 60s has Pluto in Virgo. So this becomes a very important year for those people born in the 60s. If we add these two vibrations together, we get the specific vibration of the month of April 2025, which is the 13-4, which is the death card in the tarot. It's about change. It's about letting go. It is located here on the Tree of Life on this blue path, connecting the Sephiroth of Venus, Netzach, which means victory, to the sun, the Sephiroth of the sun, which is Tiphereth, which is beauty. So this is the relationship between the sun and Venus. And we had Venus and the sun conjoined start a new Venus star point cycle back in March. And so as Venus sort of moves forward, because she turns direct this month and then moves out of the month, the last day of the month she re-enters Aries. And so this is a month where Venus is going to re-establish herself, get her bearings, and start to move on the war plan, so to speak. All right. On the 3rd of April, Sun, Saturn, Uranus sextile. This is part of a cycle that's a 45-year cycle. I believe it began in 1988 when these two planets conjoined. And it's at the point of the cycle where we are coming to understand the need for progressive change, the need for a more Aquarian way of being, a way for us to live in a society where there's more equality, actually. So that kind of sounds antithetical to what a lot of people have been like saying what the future is going to be. So just so you know, the astrology is on the side of the collective. The society, this astrology is on the side, if we could say that. And of course, we really can't say that because astrology doesn't take sides. But the energy is such that this is a time of raising all boats. Okay, it's an upliftment in consciousness. We're not going to be within the prison of our past thought forms. This is about moving into something new. So. We also have Mars sextile Uranus on that day, which also boosts that energy, right? We have the Sun sextile Jupiter and then Venus trine Mars. So this first week is pretty cool. On the 7th, Mercury goes direct. That's going to feel good, especially for Mercury ruled signs, right? But we also have Saturn, Venus conjunct Saturn. They meet in Pisces. Venus is retrograde, right? And then a few days later, on the 12th, Venus stations direct. So it's moving real slow when it conjoins Saturn and then sextiles Uranus. And then we have it turn around. So these two aspects that happen on the 7th and the 8th are going to happen again when Venus turns around and passes them again. The day that Venus goes direct is also the day of the full moon, and the full moon happens to be in Libra on the 12th, and Libra is a Venus ruled sign. And Libra is a sign of peace, war and peace, actually, but coming to end the rule of law, right? So it's powerful in a way, for that justice energy, for that the energy of truth. We have on the 16th, Mercury ingressing into Aries. It turns direct on the 7th, is in Pisces. And then it comes out of Pisces, moves into Aries. That first degree of Aries is considered a world point. And so significant shifts and changes happen when things go over that world point. And a lot of things are going over that world point over and over again this year. So it's really about new beginnings, but it's also about letting go of the past. And so it is a 9-year, right? It's about releasing that which no longer serves. And sometimes we don't know if it serves us or not. Sometimes we think things serve us, but they don't really. And there's, all this sort of shock and change that's happening is going to kind of like COVID did, where we asked, we got to rest, we got to actually rest, and we got to decide, well, not all of us, those of us who were lucky enough, I should say, we got to decide, like, is this something we had time to relate, whether we like to or not, to ourselves and to our family. So that was sort of that kind of forced evaluation. And I feel like right now we're going through a forced evaluation as well, especially after those eclipses last month. Um, on April 17th, Mercury makes a conjunction to Neptune in that first degree of Aries. That's very significant. And then on the 18th, the next day, Mars re-enters Leo. Remember, Mars had his retrograde cycle. It started at about 7 degrees of Leo on the 6th of December. It turned around in February 23rd, I think it was, while it was in Cancer, it's at 17 degrees of Cancer. Moved forward through Cancer all through March. And then we had, so we had this sort of movement forward of the Mars energy in emotional Cancer after it had spent all this time being frustrated. It's a very powerful sort of tidal wave of energy that came through. So as Mars re-enters Leo, the sign that it started its retrograde, it's not quite out of shadow, but Mars functions better in Leo because Leo is fiery, Leo is fixed, Leo knows what it wants. The Mars in Leo will go after what it wants. And there isn't much, that'll stop it. I just want to point out that the F-47 has his Mars in Leo. And actually so does, no, he doesn't. No, he doesn't. He doesn't have Mars in Leo. I was thinking of Vance. I think he has Mars in Scorpio, actually. I'm not surprised. All right. On the 19th, the sun goes into Taurus. I love Taurus. Taurus is my favorite time. Not that you asked, but I'll tell you. And of course, this is when the sun is in your sign. Um, we also have on that day Mars trine Neptune. Really nice. Go dancing. Go dancing. Dance around the maypole. April 20th, Venus sextiles Uranus. There's Venus coming back around to join with Uranus. Now she's moving forward. She's done her turnaround. Mercury sextiles Pluto on that day. This is really deep thinking, deep thinking. And the sun squares Mars. That can be a crisis. That can be a little bit messy, out in the streets, fighting out in the streets. On the 21st, Saturn conjoins the north node of the moon. The north node of the moon is in Pisces. And Saturn is reality, and the north node is the reality of our future. And I think the choices we make from there. On the 23rd, the sun makes a square to Pluto, right? It made a square to Mars. It makes a square to Pluto. And then on the 24th, Venus comes back to Saturn, conjoins it again, and then moves on and goes into that synodic cycle with Saturn, and continues on. On the 26th of April, we have the last of the three exact oppositions of Mars-Pluto. The first one happens 11/3 of 2024, 2 days before the election. Second one, I think, happened on the 1st or the 2nd of the month. I think it depended of the year. I think it depended on where you were at that time. And this is the last one. And these are powerful times. There's a lot of energy around Ukraine here. Mars re-entering Leo, Zelensky's Mars gets activated. Mars opposite Pluto is really the story of what Ukraine has had to withstand, right? Pluto. Oh, that says Plout. That should be Pluto. I'll have to change that. I just noticed that. Who's Plout? On the 27th, new moon in Taurus, your sign, baby. New moon, new birth, new you. And then on the 30th, Venus, your ruling planet, moves into Aries, out of Pisces, where she's been exalted, so it hasn't been terrible for Venus. The retrograde wasn't easy, but Pisces is used to like moving backwards anyway. Moves in all directions, right? It's Pisces. But then at the end of the month, Venus rolls into Aries and you're ready to rumble. You are ready to rumble. Okay, let's go just to yours specifically and see where these things fall in your chart. Here we are, Taurus. So we can see that there's a lot of energy on this side of the chart. This side of the chart is the sort of you're the captain of your own ship's side of the chart. It's much more subjective how you decide to impress yourself upon the world at large. There's a lot of energy there. The sun starts in Aries. So it's in your 12th house, which is, the house of the other side. Neptune just moved in there. Neptune is a natural place for the 12th house. And so your intuition, your psychic ability is going to be highlighted um, this month and then the whole time that Neptune is in Aries. And then when it, eventually goes into Aries next year and stays there for 14 years, your intuition is going to be peaked. Uh, Venus, your ruling planet, starts the month in Pisces, retrograde, turns around as we said, and then comes into Aries at the very, very end of the month. That is, this is good. This is good for you. Venus in the 11th house, perhaps you've had to rethink some of your relationships with friends. You have Saturn there. So Saturn can sometimes be a dearth of whatever is symbolized by that 11th house. But it's almost at the end of Pisces. And so usually when it first starts going through the house, it feels like lack of, but then because it's Pisces, you work it. I mean because it's Saturn, you work it. And by the time Saturn leaves, you've probably reestablished a new set of friends or a new set of goals or a new something. The sun then moves into your first house where we have that new moon close to the end of the month. And of course, Uranus is still in that first house, causing trouble, changing you, right? The unchangeable Taurus has been forced to a certain extent to make changes, and you guys you've freed yourself up quite a bit. Um, and a lot of dust. The dust hasn't settled yet with that new moon, a new opportunity to start uh, um, a new you. It could be a health regime. It could be the first house is sort of like your direction. What direction do you want to take? So you're deciding on a direction. And it's always practical and pragmatic because you're a Taurus and the new moon is in Taurus. We do have a full moon. That full moon happens early in the month. The new moon happens towards the end of the month, and it's in Libra with the sun in Aries in the 12th house. This is the axis of health for you. Um, and it's also a karmic axis, so you can people maybe coming in, that you're tying up loose ends with the karma. The full moon illuminates your sector of work and health, and so pay attention to what comes up at that time. Maybe new opportunities, or maybe things that you need to release, full moon, or things that you need to see so that you can change them, whether it be health or work or whatever. Mars, the planet of action, of course, has been in um, Cancer. As I said, it was retrograde. It started moving forward. Spent all of March in Cancer, moving forward. That tidal wave of emotion, anger, frustration, sort of taking over. And then when it moves into Leo, which it does relatively early in the month, right? When is that happening again? Mars. Oh, maybe it's not that early. Mars re-enters. Oh, it's on the 18th. Okay. Mars re-enters Leo. Um, we have now Mars moved into your fourth house, and it's much more focused. Leo is much more focused, and so this is a good time to actually take an action to do what it is that you want to do. Could even be some house repair or house working on your house, renovating or fixing and stuff like that, building something, creating something. It's Leo, so a lot of times you Tauruses show your creativity within your home. A lot of Tauruses are really good at like design and Taurus is a Venus ruled sign, the textures and velvets, and when you walk into a house where there's Taurus, there's usually a lot of beautiful things. And things look expensive, even if they're not expensive, they look expensive because Taurus has a way of, you know, doing that. Um, and also understanding the value of things. So, all right, I think that's it. We have Pluto in the 10th house, gonna be there for 19 years. So we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it. Um, yeah, so that's your month. So let's go, let's do the card reading. And I have a deck here I'm going to use for Taurus. It's the Wildwood deck. It's one of the more earthy decks that I have. Oh dear. There it goes. One of the little things that Ona made me to put my cards in. She's so clever, so talented at that stuff. Okay, hold on. Now I missed it, my kids. Oh, just those. Okay, it was just those. All right, good. So let's take a look. Let's see what the cards have to say. All right, just do 3 quick shuffles and then a cut, and then we'll be all set. Try not to make too much noise. Bang, bang, bang. All right. All right, let's see, Taurus. What do we start with? The 5 of Vessels. 5 of Vessels. It's about 5 of Cups um in this deck, which is usually like, crying over the spilled cups and getting up and continuing on, right? But this in this deck, that's not really what the meaning of the card is. I feel like this is about being in your body, being in your feelings, dancing your feelings, maybe creating a sacred space for you to work your magic. There needs to be movement. Okay. And of course, April is a time when we start to plant, things start to come out, at least here in the northern hemisphere. Is springing. This is very much sort of like a spring energy, right? With the green. And so it's a time of movement. It's a time of getting yourself moving after a long winter. What's challenging that we have the Knight of Vessels, which is the Knight of Cups. Now, this card is this to me feels like Kundalini energy. Um, and so these two together seems like a very sensual start to the month. Very sensual start to the month. Underneath it all, we have the moon. Yeah, the moon has been coming up a lot. Of course, we are the moon is things coming up from beneath, right? Things coming up from beneath. I almost feel like there are feelings that need to be danced out. Do 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 do, right? Do a dance off or something. Because things are coming up, and it's some of it is really ancient, really ancient. In the past, ooh, we have the 2 of Vessels or the 2 of Cups. This is about a commitment. A commitment has been made, an agreement, a pact, um, a sacred pact has been made. You made a sacred pact. Could have made it with somebody. You could have made it with yourself, your own higher self. You could have made it before you came into this life, and all of a sudden, like the pact, the contract is on the table, and you're like, oh yeah, I agreed to that, didn't I? In the sky, we have the two, which is the seer, the high priestess. This is knowing. This is the knowingness. Visionary. So you have some visions coming in. You have a knowingness. Now, it doesn't mean that you need to say anything, because this is about listening and not speaking. But it is a time of great intuitive abilities, and so utilize those. because there's a need to sort of look into that place in your mind, and you're utilizing your intuition, connecting with source, connecting with spirit, and seeing what messages come to give you direction, to give you direction. We have abundance, the Six of Bows. This is the Six of Wands in another deck. It's a victory card. And so success is on the way for you. This is the card for the month. It's also the Six of Bows. The abundance energy also needs to be shared. It's like getting togethers with others to share the abundance, celebrating together. The six is a community energy. And so this suggests that you get together within your community and have a celebration, share some food perhaps, have a victory, like what has been victorious, what has worked, what can we celebrate? That's the energy here. How it's seen from the outside, people are seeing you as seeing things from a different perspective, right? Seeing your imagination, maybe, and perhaps being surprised as such a pragmatic sign, right? Your domestic situation, your Page of Arrows, the Wren, you need to make sure that your voice is being heard in your domestic situation. The wrens are very small, but they're very, very loud. And the wren, just in general, is about, uh, having your voice heard, having your voice heard. It's also an energy, the Page of Arrows or the Page of Swords can also be that little bit of like pestering troublemaker energy. It's like the person who like says the emperor is wearing no clothes, right? He's naked, right? And everybody's like, shh, shh. He's like, but he's naked, right? And they're like, it's like that energy that sort of pricks the illusion, pricks the illusion where you can actually, because that person is seeing what's really there, right? You may be one of those people who are seeing what's really there, and so you need to speak up. Hopes and fears. We get the seven of wands. This is called clearance in this deck. This is about letting go of things that are broken or mending things that are broken. I don't know. I can't see it as a hope or a fear necessarily, but maybe it's something in the back of your mind that you think you need to deal with. We got the Knight of Arrows in the as the outcome. The Knight of Arrows is the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords can move into things a little too quickly, so you don't want to commit to something you haven't really thought about. So there's a little bit of a warning there. But it does have to be, you are a seeker of truth, and so you will act on the truth. Just make sure you know what you're getting yourself into. We have the Queen of Bows. So this is the Queen of Fire, right? The sort of woman of the hearth energy. So we have a king and a queen. Let's see. The Eight of Vessels in this card is rebirth. So this is an emotional rebirth, maybe moving away from things that uh, don't fulfill you emotionally, and being reborn into and allowing yourself to move on from something, And then lastly, and I picked 3 cards to see if I can get a major arcana, and we get the card of the month, which is, the year, which is the Hermit. This is about shedding your light, right? Shining your light. There's that wren again, right? There's that little wren. So you might find that people are coming to you for your wisdom this month, especially young people, like young, maybe pestery people. Like, he's got no clothes on. Why is everybody looking? The kid that sees the truth, the kid without a filter, right? That kind of energy. It doesn't have to be a kid, but certainly that truth teller, so to speak. Let's see what's underneath it. We have the Eight of Bows here, which in this deck is hearth fire. So it's getting together again with people who you share the light with, you share the warmth with. The Eight of Stones, which is about skill and working, getting better and better at what you do. There's a crafty quality to that. And then ultimately we get the Balance card, which is the, in this deck is the Temperance card. But there's that Kundalini energy, right? We see that, those snakes again. And so this is a powerful time of healing. But it does require you to just put one foot in front of the other, right? One foot in front of the other. Don't get pulled off your center, which it, as a Taurus is pretty, you guys are pretty good at not getting pulled off your center. I don't know if anyone's ever tried to tip a cow. I mean, and maybe if they're sleeping, I guess, but um, yeah. I'm going to pick one more card. It's going to be an oracle card. I'm using the Animal Spirit Oracle, and I'm just collecting my cards as they're falling on my lap. You just give me a moment here, and we'll see what animal spirit wants to talk to Taurus this month. Okay, here we go. There was something that I didn't say at the beginning that I wanted to say that I was, it doesn't really matter because I'm going to say it after this. Just let you know about my memberships. All right. All right, let me do it this one. Crow spirit. Um, I've gotten this a couple of times. I've gotten this a couple of times for a couple of the signs. So crows are very important. Let me read what it says to you. Taurus. I follow the crows. I listen to I watch for them, for the omens up from the crows. This is 17, 7th to 17th card. That is the star in the tarot. Co-create with spirit. As you look around you, you can sense the magic that pulsates through the world. Have you witnessed how every thought becomes a thing? How every intention can call the universe into action as the sacred laws shape what you experience? The universe works in perfect order. When you align your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs with spirit, you will want to crow with delight, feeling the excitement and wonder of being in harmony with something much larger than yourself. Crow Spirit says you are right on target now, and to see your dreams magically come into the visible world. The laws of abundance, compensation, frequency, and praise are operating in your favor now. Remember to be grateful and praise what is yours, even if it's still coalescing into form, still residing in the invisible realms of co-creation. No matter what area of your life you're concerned with now, what you hope for is on its way, for spirit is your co-creative partner, creating your own reality, co-creating your reality with spirit. Because where your mind goes and your attention goes, energy flows. So focus on the things that matter. Focus on the things that are going to bring goodness and peace and harmony into your life. And if we can bring it into our personal space, it will make its way out into the collective, because it's time for peace. It's time for peace. Let's see how we do. All right, guys, take care. Have a wonderful month. I'll see you again next month. I have two memberships. I have the Starlets and I have the Star Seekers. The Star Seekers get a little bit more information on astrology, numerology, the kind of more metaphysical things. The Starlets get some card readings and other things, as also astrology. And then I'll be doing some lives once I can organize that. So that'll be fun. That's for members for membership. Oh, and for all my Patreons out there, thank you so much. I feel bad sometimes. I've been on Patreon for a while, so it's not top of mind because because I've been doing it for a while, but also my patrons on Patreon. Thank you so much. I'll see all you guys next month, or I'll see you in the morning as I walk through the garden. Take care, everyone. Namaste.